museum at the Katzen Art Center. We opened 20 years ago, almost to the day, and from the very beginning, we decided to focus on international contemporary art as one of our main parts of what we do here. And I guess the reason is we have a great School of International Service, and we are right here at the top of Embassy Row, right outside our door. And we've had some great shows, collaborations with different countries, but I think nowhere have we had such a beautiful show as you're seeing before you today. Let me introduce to you our wonderful artist, Orna Ben-Ami.
Thank you, Jake. Jake Rasmussen is the director and curator of this museum. He adapted my art, and I appreciate it so much, Jake. And all my thanks are to him and the whole team here. They did a wonderful, wonderful job. It was a great thing to put up the exhibition with all of you, Jake. Thank you very, very, very much. And thank you all for coming. Listen, what I want to try to do is to share with you a little bit of the process and how my heart is moving from here to my hand and to what you see around you. So just let me go over a few things and just clarify maybe what you see in the exhibition, even more things that you don't see. In the beginning of my creation, by the way, I began as jewelry making, and then I moved into sculpting, from designing to express myself as an artist. In the beginning was that I sculpted objects that are memories, objects for me represent people and situations, and you can I connect to those objects from my own memories and my own experience. For example, this is another dress, and this is me in the dress, and my mother made all the dresses. So everything has to do with memories from family, from home, and so this is one example. My father-in-law, he was really a book reader, poetry. He read to his children before they went to sleep poetry, and this is how my husband Odette grew up. And he always had the pipe in his mouth. So this is, you can see it in the exhibition, this is, we call it Grandpa Shmulik. So again, objects that are reminding of someone that we loved. Handmade. My mother was sewing, my grandmother was sewing, needling, very, very creative to women with fabric. So this is also from my own memories and what my mother did. Now I cut I cut those shapes out with fire. And I want to show you, there is a video there in the exhibition, so I'm not going to show you a video. But this is me in my studio, very sexy as you see. And on the right side, I'm cutting with the plasma machine. The left side is welding. Now there is a big difference between metal sculptures that are cast and the ones that I make. When you cast, an artist cast a sculpture usually makes them of clay, for example, and give it out to be cast in a foundry or factory. And then when the metal becomes sculpture, it's melted and you pour it into a mold. This is not what I'm doing. I'm taking the iron, the sheets, the tubes, profiles, I cut them, weld them like you will take a cardboard, cut it and weld it and make so each one is one of a kind, because I make one long series of cast sculptures. So here you are, you can see. You can also see me in the studio. Now the problem is not to weld and cut. This everyone can do. But the problem is the weight of the works. Listen, I have a wonderful husband. Wide shoulders, big heart. He helps me to carry my things in the studio. And I'm working in an industrial area where my neighbors are helping me. They don't like me so much. Come and help me move this and that. But when Odette did it for the first time, he stood in the middle of the studio, all sweaty, and he said, "Tell me something. Origami is not art." And when we go to buy something like a CO2 welding machine, we're entering a store, and I'm asking all the technical questions. They're answering only him. Then he says, "Don't you say I don't understand what you're talking about? Why did you come to buy a welding machine?" "I didn't come to buy." "She did. Talk to her." And one more anecdote is when I had a birthday, he was there working very hard, and he left home at 5 a.m. and came back at 3 a.m., something like that. He said, "Please go buy yourself a present." He knew I want something from a jeweler with a tiny little diamond. I went there. He said, "Please buy it from me." I went there and I asked, "How much is this jewel?" He told me, so I went, I said, "Thank you," went back to the studio and bought a crane. So they said, "Where is your jewel?" I said, "I bought a crane. I love it," he said. Now, when I buy tools from catalogs, you don't see women there, only men. They're always standing on an I-beam like machos. So I decided one day I'm going to show them something. And I made this ballet slipper. I call this, I think this work is like a self-portrait, not because I'm a dancer. But the ballet slipper is very feminine and artistic. And you see it's folding the iron beam stronger than the iron. So, you know, President Paris wrote me once a letter. He saw a program with me on TV, and when he was president, he found time to write me a letter. And the last line was, "Orna, you prove there is nothing softer than iron and nothing stronger than a woman." He was amazing, amazing. Now, one day, for some reason, I decided to try to add sculptures to photos. I didn't know how to do it. You cannot attach iron to paper or canvas. So I found, slowly I developed the technique that I have never seen before. And the first photo I took was this one. It's here. You see, these are my mother in the middle and the sisters of my brother on the sides. Just before my father and mother got married, they took this picture. Now, my mother was such a beautiful, pretty woman. One day, I was at the army, I was a military reporter in the radio. So I interviewed someone and I realized that he knows my parents. He said, "You know, I'm the daughter of," said, "Listen, your mother is so pretty. You look so much like your father." There are things you will never forget. Now, as the idea was, you see, as they disappear, I printed it 3 times, as they disappear, their belongings are becoming more and more meaningful and important. More items are on the ones when they are gone. People leave us, but their belongings stay to remind them. Now, I think this sense to what's left began with when I was in 1st grade. My sister, she was 12 years old, she died. It's a huge trauma, I will not get into it, but her piano stayed. Everything, it follows me a lot. And my parents, and I'll go back to it, moved to many different places in Israel. We were just like gypsies in Israel. My father used to say, you don't paint a house, you move. So we moved and moved. So I think my sensibility to what's left comes from using someone's clothes, and I believe everyone understands that. These ladies, the one in the middle, is my father's aunt. These are all from family photos. And the one on the left, then the right, is Gidl. Gidl is, and Joseph there, you'll see that those two works. Gidl is from my husband's family. She was murdered in Bergen-Belsen and he in Auschwitz. And the family survivors brought those pictures and allowed me to sculpt them. So it's my husband's aunt, second aunt, and this is her husband's mother, Kitty. And when I made him a version. And he was 90 years old and demented. He was sitting in front, he was ready just to sit in front of this picture, and all the time he said, Orna brought me my mother. So this is about Gideon. Now, this photo is my grandfather in the center, and his friends who came to say goodbye when he left Poland. And actually what I wanted to show there, I believe most of them are gone, but they're gone now because of years as well. But the heads stayed, and the heads represent the fact that they were Jewish. So this work is in Wisconsin now, the university it was purchased. And there is one more. My mother used to say, my little girl is welding. You know, in Polish families, girls don't weld, Jewish Polish families. So all the time I had to tell her, Mom, it's okay, I have hands, I have imagination, don't worry about it. One day someone came to my studio, and just when he left, he said, I think the iron is in your blood. And it made me stop and think. My mother's maiden name was Stoll, Steel. How did they give the Jews in Europe names, last names, by their occupation? I called my mother, I said, listen, Mom, the genes are from your side of the family. Stop complaining. I'm telling you, I don't believe in it, but somehow I inherited it. It's stronger than me, the love to the material, and I believe that it's true. The family was busy with metals. And I told you, okay, so this is the Stoll family. My mother is down here. My grandfather and grandmother are there with the clothes that stayed. My grandfather was murdered after they came to Israel. Then Palestine became, my grandfather was murdered by the Arabs in Haifa in the riots. And I didn't know him, of course. And this is also a trauma that my mother is carrying, but this is another story. Now I told you that my father, by the way, all the family story, there is a book that was published in England, brand new, that arrived here, a retrospective book that the publisher works with the biggest museums in the world. It's a great honor for me, this book. You can see it downstairs, and look at it or buy it. And I told you, my family used to move and move and move, and I was a child who grew up in boxes, in crates. So this is the self-portrait from 6 years old, I'm calling it self-portrait. And there is the suitcase that you see here, that actually is coming from an artist, an Israeli, that knows a lot of immigrants who came and wanted to put roots in the ground. This was before I dealt with refugees that I will get to. And they wanted to put roots in the ground, wanted to be accepted. But for me as a child who moved a lot, I wanted to put roots in the ground. Stop moving me from one place to the other. And also it has the meaning that if someone now wants to leave, they have to pull out the roots, because everyone has roots somewhere and they want to stay there. And it touches the theme of the refugees. They want to stay where they are. I looked at my parents' photographs and documents, and I thought to myself, wow, entire life in a box. All there is left is in one box. And because we were wandering a lot, it took me immediately to think about the refugees that all their life they have to take, not in a box, in a backpack, in a suitcase. So this is where, when I started creating this series of works on the wall, I'll show you only a few because you'll see the rest, and I called it Entire Life in a Package. And this was, I asked Reuters, it was the war in Syria, and there were floods of refugees before Ukraine that went to Europe, and I asked Reuters to allow me to scout on the photos of the refugees. So I chose one out of thousands, the last years, then the last years, 20 years, and this lady from Bosnia, what she took were photographs and pictures from home. This is what approximately was on the photo. And you have to get close to it here and see that the bag is on top of the photo in two parts. Her hands are on the photo. It looks like she's hugging it. It's a huge challenge to combine 3 dimensions on 2 dimensions. So this is one example. Another one is this. This exhibition, Entire Life in a Package, was shown at the UN in New York. We'll get back to each other. UN in Geneva, in the Palace of Nations in Geneva, and in 10 museums in the world, and everywhere. The fact that I'm showing affection to the refugees from other countries, also from enemy countries to Israel, it spoke to people. So this is another photo of a line of Syrian refugees in Europe, in Greece, I think it is. And what I did, I think the success of this work, if it's good, it's the photography. You see, people are walking and their reflection is in a pedal, and I covered them, it's on the wall there, you can see it. I covered them with iron as if they are a monument. They don't have any personality, and the personality is reflected, but in what? In a pedal. It's a big work that is there. And there is, I call this work reflecting, but it's part of the Entire Life in a Package series. And this is a Syrian child in a refugee camp in Lebanon. Those photos I could get just from Reuters because I cannot be in those places. And I had a very interesting and touching meeting in Geneva, where the exhibition was there. There came a guy, said, with tears in his eyes, he said, Orna, I'm Aziz from Syria. I'm the relative of the child, you know the child, the body that was swept from the water? He's a relative of him. Thank you so much for this exhibition. It speaks to me so strongly, because he is the head of the Kurd refugees in Switzerland. And he went somewhere, found 2 photos of Aline the child. It's difficult a little bit to see it, but he asked me to take a picture next to this child with the dog. I'm in touch with Aziz until today, and with this book, that is called, the title is like the exhibition, Displacement and Memory, was about to be published, I asked him to write the text for the book. I think this is an amazing text. He told me how we met, he's writing it as a letter, told me what it means to be a refugee, learn new language, yet it's an amazing connection with him. Now in Germany, in the museum, I met Syrian, Iraqi and Afghani refugees, one Palestinian. They came to me, listen, there was the Israeli flag and the ambassador was the representative from the embassy was there, but they came and they thanked me so much for this exhibition and they were ready to be taken pictures with me. It's the manager of it's the mayor of the city and all of them are refugees, there were 10 of them. Now, it was funny, there is another picture, because they got so excited. They started telling me, I was on this boat, I fell to the water, they said, me and my son, we were standing here, we knew when we were crossing the line, we were safe, if not, they were very excited, but unfortunately, I don't speak Arabic, and not all of them spoke English. And the funny thing was that they spoke German to the Germans, and the Germans translated it into English for me. And I was standing there and I was thinking, Orna, art can build bridges. It was so, so, so amazing. Now when I continue working with the refugees thing for an exhibition in Israel, I wanted to draw figures, but I'm not a painter, I'm not drawing. I decided to draw in iron. I cut this figure of the child from a plate that is like 1/5 of an inch, you can see it. I draw on the big sheet of iron, and I draw and I cut with fire. And actually you can see it here. And I made that child, and I wanted to attach him to the wall because he is thin, he cannot stand by himself. Put him on the wall and then made a half box like in the photographs. And then I thought to myself, if I will make a whole box and weld him to the box will hold him. And from there came, from this came an idea. From this technical solution came an idea that the packages are holding the people. Make them strong enough to go ahead. The packages with all the memories and their dreams for the future are keeping them walking. So the packages are holding the transparent people because they are all fragile and transparent, like the world don't see them. And this is one more example here. You can see from the side how thin the figure is, but you can see it here in the exhibition. Two more that are here, and it's like I'm cutting out all the negative pieces out. I'm just cutting it. And this one. Now this sack that he's carrying. By the way, the ones that are connected, some of them are, the package is connected to the wall and the transparent person is connected to the package. All of them are cannot survive without being connected to the package. This one, I must tell you, technically, it was such a challenge to make this sack. So I brought you this to see. I'm sitting and welding all the squares, welding, and I feel someone is looking at me. I'm with my mask, I put it up, and I look at the door, there is a welder, a neighbor. I said, lady, you're so crazy. What are you doing? Yes, so I'm little less crazy. Anyway, so these are the transparent ones, and I will move ahead. there is this teddy bear there, and I wanted to put, sorry, I wanted to put a lot of things in a box, but I made this teddy bear, and I stopped. I started crying. I said, the teddy bear in the box says it all. I don't need more. And there is also, so the teddy bear is here, and there is also this bag and the backpack. You know, I take a flat sheet of iron and I start heating, folding, welding, polishing. This one, I looked at it and I said, who made you? It's such an exciting process. And when I convince the iron, it makes me so happy. Okay, I want to move to something that is not in the exhibition. Few works of October 7 that I created. And I want to share them with you. They're in Israel, so they will be shown in October 7 this year in Israel. So I'm not here, but I want to share them with you because it's very important for me. These and others. When October 7 happened, we are all lost, you know. We couldn't believe something like this can happen. And I don't have to tell you the stories you know. It was the most horrible thing ever. I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. What can I create? I'm not going to the studio. We were sitting and crying. So I volunteered in my city. And we were folding clothes for families who had to go to leave their burned houses and toys. And they asked me in the municipality to call people, old people in my city, and ask them if they're okay, and if they need anything, and report if they need anything, if they have a shelter or a safe room in their home, if they're going when they're in the sirens. And so I called, I had like 100 people. I called one of them, I'll just tell you for the smile in this situation. I asked, are you going to the safe room? Do you have one? He said, my sister has one, she's next door. So you're going there? No, I don't speak with her. So this was my volunteering. I volunteered to help. But I realized after a while that most of them, some of them are younger than me. I'm coming to check if they're okay. So I decided, Orna, it's about time to go back to the studio. And what brought me back was this freedom sculpture that I donated to the kidnapped square, to the kidnapped families, as a symbol of bars turning into birds. This made me go back to the studio. And then I said, Orna, photographs. Do something with photographs. And I called a photographer, photojournalist, photographer that is very famous in Israel, Ziv Koren, his name is. He was there after October 7 the same day after, and took thousands of images of what he saw. And I asked him to sculpt on his photographs. He gave me the permission. He said, do whatever you want, and I'll share 3 with you. I was sitting in his office looking at thousands of photographs that I will not tell you what I saw there. It was a real trauma. And I chose the ones that are home. Because of this dealing with home and place, I chose the ones that are home. And naturally, this was the first photo I took. And as in the works with the exhibitions, I wanted to sculpt this vase, the white vase that you see. And that moment I understood that if I'm covering the vase, I'm killing his photo, because the whole idea of him as an artist is this vase that was stayed after this horrible fire, and also because it had a little bit of water probably and it spilled around. So at that moment I decided in Ziv Koren's photographs I'm not covering any detail that was important for him. And there was another photo that I found in his files of a family in a wedding that was in one of the walls, and the photo itself got shut 3 times. So I decided to revive this family. I don't know even who they are. And I cut it in iron, the family photo. I reproduced it in my way and edited it on the empty wall. Didn't cover anything that was important for him. This is a house in near Oz, and okay, I will not get into details, but what I did, I tried to bring back people and objects to these horrible photos. And this, I call it Mom, Why? You see the girl with the door made of iron that I attached to the photo. This exhibition of October 7, I call it negative positive. The Israel ambassador to the UN wanted to show art from Israel after October 7. It was like 5 months after. They didn't let him. They didn't let him. Just Palestinian art, they didn't let him draw it. So when I suggested this, he went to the UN, and the deputy secretary of the UN, general secretary, he said, listen, I remember this artist. She showed here sympathy to refugees from an enemy country. We are going to show her art. I'm telling you, this was a great success because we moved a lot of works and a lot of photos to the UN. It was shown there for 2 weeks, and it was important to show it. So these works helped me show these at the UN. Here is another room. You see, I call it the teddy bear sewing hole. I didn't cover the blood stain and the bullet magazine. I just added this doll with this teddy bear into the baby's crib. The teddy bear sewing hole. And the last one is this. It's a street in Kfar Aza where the young generation lived. A lot of people were kidnapped and murdered there. So I added the father and child with the question, where to they're living. So it's a whole series. You have a lot of them in the book, but I'm showing, I just felt like sharing them with you, although they're not in the exhibition. Now I walked around my studio and I saw works that I made long ago with no connection to what happened. This is one of them, the cradle. The title was, when I created it, Overprotective. This was from like a mother point of view. Are we protecting our children or just putting them in prisons? But when I looked around in my studio and I saw it, I started crying because I thought about those Bibas babies that were kidnapped. So this was also at the UN. And other works, like the one you have here, I'm telling you, I started trying, how come I made this? It was so precise to this situation. And then I made this family dinner. It was also at the UN. There were many sculptures, many photos there. It looks a little bit like the bird. I made it from another idea altogether. It's a family dinner. No one around the table is perfect, but they're connected to each other. But it reminded me of the photos of the bird furniture. Now, I'm an Israeli, and this trauma is so terrible. But I'm also thinking about the children on the other side. And I felt like expressing my sympathy or the fact that I'm thinking about the other side, children. I don't deal with the adults, I don't know what they did, but the children, they're not guilty of anything. So there are 4 words, I'll show you 3, that I call children in Gaza. I covered, this is from the humanitarian corridor where the army helped them move from the war zone. And by the way, Hamas was shooting them because they're living horrible. Their lives are so horrible from all sides. They're ruled by a terror organization and they're attacked by a country that, okay, I will not tell you, this war has to be ended. But when I made this, I wanted to show my heart to the children in Gaza. And I covered all the adults with iron, like with the transparent, the reflecting work, and I left just the children and the packages. I added in the hand of this child a wagon with toys, and I felt like painting it for the first time. So this is one of the children in Gaza. Another one that really speaks to me. I don't know, the first one I showed you is by Ziv Koren, the Israeli photographer. 2, the one that I'm showing you now, was taken by a Palestinian photographer who works with an agency in Israel that gave me the permission. Because again, I cannot be there and take pictures. But look at this mother and child. And all, again, I covered the adults with iron. Or this one, with all the packages on the car. And listen, I'm happy I made them because it's also important. Again, I'll show you this package on the roof. And this was such a challenge to create it, the package on package on package with like a rope holding it. So this is what I'm showing you from this situation of the reality these days and what happened in October 7, that it's a trauma that we will never recover from, never. And there are more in the book if you want to see it. I'll take a deep breath and I move to something else. I am also creating public art, public sculptures. There are more and more. I will show you only a few and give you the experience of what I'm doing there. When I make a sculpture that is 7 meters high, is like 21 feet or something more even 25 feet. And I don't do it myself. There is a limit to every chutzpah, if you know what it is. I cannot do this. I do it in a factory. I bring a maquette, like a model. They're working with the model. You can see on the left side how tall it is. I'm with the workers in the factory. They don't like me so much. Because if someone is saying, Madam, I know it's coming. It's impossible. And okay, I know how to work with the material, and I proved to him it is not impossible, it is possible. So it's a process working with others that create the work. And so this is one example. I call it out of the box. You see the balls are, who is holding who? The balls are this is in Gannati vibe Israel. Another one, I don't know, somehow it happens that I do a lot of memorials. This is Amnon Lipkin Shafak was the chief of staff in Israel. I loved this man, really, and he passed away. And they donated, they built a place to remember him up north by Margaliot, viewing the Golan Heights and the Hermon Mount with the snow, and they asked me to come up with an idea. By the way, the idea in all the works is the most important, the most difficult part. Now, this is, I call it Follow Me. Follow Me, Acharai, is the slogan in the army. The commanders are going first, endangering themselves, and the soldiers are behind. So here he is tall, connected to his soldiers and to his friends. We are friends were friends with him. And also, it was important to show the view, his love to the country, his love to the view and the area and the place. So this is Follow Me next to Margaliot. Another one is this. I think I have this video. Let's see if I can play it. Patricia, can you help me play it? Maybe this way. Yes. This is also up north, next to the memorial to the helicopter crash. It was where 73 soldiers were killed, quite like 26 years ago, and I call it After the Storm. And what you see here, the trees were what brought us the idea to do this. And you can see how they're very, very tall, and it was a wonderful thing to work with the families. And we call it After the Storm. Okay. This one is a little more smiley. It's the Ganeti Prize, a place called Gardens of Hope. And the mayor wanted something that has hope in it. And I said, if two people from different backgrounds, different places are living happily together, this is hope. So one shoe is from one pair, and the other shoe from another pair, and they live happily together. So this is the sculpture. It's about 3 meters high. And they asked me to make more sculptures for the central bus station in Jerusalem to show the beauty of the city, and my idea that the variety of the people is the beauty of the city. So there are 2 walls, I'm showing you one, just to show you how big those heads are. Heads are again representing people, different people in Jerusalem. It's a big variety. And I left hooks empty for more characters. This is the city. You can see people from all around the world. So this is one wall, and this is the other. You see the Orthodox, the Christian, the Muslim, the tourist. There are 11 heads representing different people. You see the people standing down there, you can get the idea of the size. And finally, just a smile. And that is this one. It's I call it the chairman. The chairman. In English it works so perfectly. In Hebrew we have another word, a title. The chairman, it's on the seashore, close to the seashore of Rishon LeZion. It's as high as the ceiling, the one that you see in the area. And the other one is in my studio. It's a real size of a chair. The chairman. This is what it is. Okay, so before I'll show you one more thing here, and this is a sentence that I found, written by Henry Miller. One's destination is never a place, but a new way of seeing things. So I told you now how I see things, how I feel about, how I created from my feelings my art. But what I want you please is to walk around and see things your way. Be connected from your place, and it will make me very happy. Jack, thank you again for everything, and all the team of the museum, and thank you all for coming today. Really, I really appreciate it. Thank you. We are here, we can take the chairs away and just walk around the exhibition. I hope you understand it more now. Okay? Thank you very, very much.